Welcome. In this video, I'll be showing you how to easily make a public Freedom of Information request from an Australian federal government department. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be requesting a copy of a $60 million contract between Services Australia and Datacom. I found this contract on AusTender. I'll link that in the description. It seems like a crazy amount of money to be spending on temporary personnel services for only 6 months. So I thought it could be interesting in a few months when it comes back. We won't get the result of this example back by the end of this tutorial, so I'll show you some other successful requests as a demonstration in this video as to what a successful FOI request looks like. So first step is to work out the document that you want to access. I've worked that out. Once you know that, head to right2know.org.au. I'll put a link to that in the description. Right to Know simplifies the Freedom of Information process, and it makes it publicly visible your entire FOI request. So make an account, verify your email, etc. Then click the Make a Request button. Enter into the search bar the name of the department that has the document you're looking for. Keep in mind that sometimes the name of the department that is used publicly is different to the legal name or the name that's on Right to Know. In our example, the contract I'm looking for was made by Services Australia, an agency within the Department of Human Services. So click the link to that agency. On this next screen, you can write your email to the department. Put in a simple summary line, a precise description of the document you're looking for, and an email signature. There are a few things to keep in mind here. First, you might want to write the request so that the department can search quickly for the document. You might do this, for example, by saying, please only include documents that are stored electronically. Second, you want to keep your request narrow and specific. So don't just say something like, I want all emails in the department written by this person. You might want to say, I want emails written by this person in this week, or I want this specific contract. The reason you do this is because the departments charge depending on the amount of time that it takes for them to action your Freedom of Information request. So if the request that you're making is too large in scope, the department is unlikely to give you a fee quote that is feasible. If the work involved in making a request is too large, also, they might deny your request on the basis that it's an unreasonable diversion of resources. So keep it small and simple, and you'll avoid both of these situations. You don't have to use your real name in the email signature. Pseudonyms are fine. So once you've written the title, the email body, and put in your signature, click on Submit, and your Freedom of Information request will be sent to the department. Within 30 days, the department will respond to your request. They'll tell you if your request succeeded or was denied. This will depend on the law regarding the document that you're asking for. For example, if a document's been through Cabinet, they have grounds where they won't release it. Or if the document contains someone's private information, it'll only be released if there's a sufficient public interest reason. So the rules are a little bit complicated, but you can find them talked about in the Freedom of Information guidelines, which I'll link in the description. But basically, you'll get that reply back. If successful, usually they'll ask for a fee payment before they hand the documents over. So at this point, you can pay the fee, but sometimes, in my experience, the departments will charge really, really large fees, and although we can't really work out what's going on behind the scenes, sometimes I do suspect that the departments charge really high fees to discourage people from going through with their request. Maybe not all the time, but sometimes it does seem like that's going on. So there are ways that you can challenge this fee. The first way is to argue that the request has been made in the public interest. So you might argue this one if the documents that you're requesting have some relationship with something that's been in the news or is important for the community at large, not just yourself. I've had mixed success with this approach. Sometimes departments will waive the fee, sometimes they'll just offer a 15% discount, which really doesn't seem like much of a discount for things that have been topical in the news. Unfortunately, it'll depend on the bureaucrat you're dealing with. The second way, which I've had more success with, is you argue to the agency that paying the fee would cause you financial hardship. So you might be able to do this if you have a pension card, or if you're receiving welfare as a student, or have a low-income health card. Under the legislation, that's one of the important reasons that they'll actually waive FOI fees. So that might be one to try. If you have a friend in your life who has a pension or a Centrelink card, you might even want to ask them politely to lodge the request on your behalf. That way, they'll be able to obtain the discount and financial hardship waivers for you. Personally though, as a student, I've always been able to get away with using my own cards to avoid paying these fees, at least to date. If you're finding that the department is refusing to waive the fees or denies your request for what seems like a really stupid reason, that's not the end of the picture. First of all, you ask someone in the department to review the request. This is kind of like, asking for the manager. If that doesn't work, you then, next step, will appeal your request through to the Information Commissioner. I'll link that in the description as well. But that's a bit more of a complicated process, and today we're just focusing on the basics of making a request. Once the steps above are finished and it's successful and the fees are paid or whatever, the department will send through the documents. At the top of the website, click on the My Requests button after you're logged into your account. Then scroll to the request and you'll usually be able to see the email chain of that request. You can also use this website to view successful requests that have been made by other people. To do this, click on the View Requests button. Let's look at a request made to the Department of Home Affairs and see what a completed request looks like. Clicking on this link and scrolling down, we can see that the department has sent through the document asked for on this chain. Opening it, we can see that the Save the Children charity was involved with creating the child welfare guidelines used by offshore detention centres. Oh well, that's an interesting enough fact. You'll be able to find lots of interesting documents through Freedom of Information requests. More interesting than the ones in this video, less interesting. Scroll through the View Requests button and you'll be able to see a lot of interesting things that people have gone through in the past. I hope this video was helpful. Feel free to leave a comment below if you have any questions, and take care.